Hello, friends. My name is Azure Wolf, and welcome to Easy Evenings. Tonight, we're going to ease into certain postures to help break apart some of the tension that we may have built up during the day, purposely coming into stillness to slow down and tone down. I'll give options and variations to help deepen the practice or soften your practice. So you won't need any props. Just get on your mat and let's get started.
Thank you so much for practicing with us here on YouTube. Before you get started, I wanted to quickly share with you about YA Classes, which is our premium on-demand yoga and fitness membership platform. There we offer hundreds of classes in all different yoga modalities, in addition to guided meditation, breath work, fitness, bar, Pilates, and so much more. There's also amazing membership perks that come along with YA Classes, and I would love for you to check it out free for 30 days. You can click the link below or head to yaclasses.com and enter code YouTube to start practicing with us for free. Enjoy your class.
So we're going to start with some neck opening, and we're going to take our right hand to the left side of our head and guide ourselves into this stretch. And it can be helpful sometimes to just visualize our neck finding space, even softening this left shoulder. And with our visualization, we're maybe helping to further that release, if you will. So taking a breath into your left neck, and we'll slowly let that go, coming up to center, taking the left hand to the right side, guiding, not forcing. And on this side, same in that we visualize helping our body to find opening by sensing the stretch, breathing into the right side neck. One more breath. And then we'll let that go. So we're going to start with a little rotation here, and we'll have our legs in this staggered stance. And from here, we'll rotate to the right, and you can stay right here if you'd like, or if this feels like you're gaining that rotation that you want to hold. If you have the space for it, maybe we come to our forearms. And from here, if we'd like to go even deeper, and we're feeling like we have the space for it, you can take your left arm under the right and slowly move into a little deeper stretch. And if you started in that upward position, that may feel like a deep stretch to you. So just being familiar with what is a now deep stretch for us. And we'll take 5 more breaths here, allowing ourselves to kind of sit and soften and open. 3 more breaths. And this last breath, on your exhale, start to rise up, doing everything intentionally slow. We'll start to shift to the other side. And you're never stuck. So if you ever need to shift positions around, wiggle your legs around, we're reaching over our left thigh. Maybe we stay upright, but if we have the space for it, coming down to our forearms. And this is just a way for us to check in, not jumping in to the depth of a posture immediately, giving ourselves some time to find space. If we have more space, we can take this right arm under the left
and start to guide our forehead towards the ground. And each time you breathe, thinking about that breath traveling throughout the body, lending space, feeling our rib cage expand. And the reason I talk about it so much is because it's a beautiful way for us to notice we're breathing and where are we feeling it. It's that mind-body connection. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. On your last exhale,
We'll start to rise up and we'll bring the bottoms of our feet towards each other. So if butterfly pose seems challenging for you to sit up and do this, you can always do one leg at a time and lean forward or even just sit right here. But if we have the space for it, we're going to reach forward, and when we feel like we're kind of at our depth, we'll set our hands down and give the body time to start to deepen into this pose. You can really help guide that opening by breathing, by just witnessing the sensation. I like to say, let's relax. It just helps me, and maybe it'll help you. For others, visualizing is helpful, unwinding the tension. And maybe you're noticing that by softening your words, softening into evening, that you may find more space. Maybe your forearms reach the ground, but just a reminder that the depth of a posture is different for every single body on any given day. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And on your exhale, we'll rise up and we'll rotate towards the front of our mat. We'll find tabletop position just because we can. From here, we will reach the right leg back and the left knee to the side. So we're coming into half frog, and I'm going to give variations for this as well. It can be quite intense, but we will soften and let go of some of that tension. So some options here are that you can draw the left foot towards the right leg. You can also lean to the right side, and that will take some pressure off. And then you may notice over time, you can start to even out that pressure and even take that leg at a 90-degree. And for those of you who feel like you're ready for a little more depth in your posture, you can push the mat away, and this is seal pose. So seal and frog working together to find some space in the body. And thinking about this belly breathing in and out, this belly button expanding. If at any time, if you've come up off your elbows, this is too intense, just come right back down. You can always come and put your head on your hands, allowing yourself to have that permission to take what feels more in line with where your body is at tonight, right? We forget that permissive space sometimes. I know I do sometimes too. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And if we're noticing we're clenching anywhere, travel along the body and see if you can lend a voice to your body relaxing. 2 more breaths. And on your next exhale, if you're up, bring the forearms down. Take that left leg back. And we'll push back into child's pose. So I'm going to take my knees wide, but you can do knees together or apart. Entirely up to you. I'm resting my head on my hands because it feels like a little pillow. And a reminder that your belly loves to breathe. Your belly
wants to extend out and then find a place to come back in. So release that tension. If you've been holding your belly in, consider this an opportunity to let your belly dance or breathe. One more breath like this. And on your next exhale, we'll start to rise up. And the left leg's going to reach back now. The right knee bends. I'm going to go over those options again, just as a little reminder here. So we're going to take that right foot if we want to bring it closer to the body. Maybe that relieves a little tension. If we're feeling like it's too much, we can also lean to this left side until our body becomes familiar with where we're at. Taking a few breaths into the body before we take any further transition. If we're ready to move deeper, we can push the ground away, but also a reminder that we can take it all the way down, no problem. So, truth be told, I've practiced a little yoga this morning, so I'm feeling a little more open for my practice, because this is not always accessible to me. So a reminder to be in your now body. And we'll continue to breathe out some of the tension that we're holding, checking in with our left leg. Are we holding on tight? Can we relax? Checking in with the right inner thigh. Can we relax there? And even if it's just in your mind's eye, to soften, almost like you can feel a river being unblocked. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. On your next exhale, moving to our forearms. If we aren't there, taking the right leg back. And this time, coming into child's pose, and maybe you try it the alternate way. I'm going to take my knees closer together and take my arms back. So different takes on each pose, just for fun, just for fun. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. And on your next exhale, hands to the ground, we will kneel up. If the kneeling isn't comfortable for you, we can always sit on the ground, but we're going to take eagle arm. Take the right arm over the left, and just if this is not accessible, we can always try this. So we're going to shift those arms to the left and look to the right, and we're going to hold this. So just holding different positions, if you will. Sometimes we get caught up in doing the things the same all the time. But when we open up to doing it differently, sometimes we open ourselves up to growth just with that little step. We'll slowly take those arms to the other side and look to the left. Just taking a couple breaths with each of these. And then we will release that and slowly transition the left arm over right. Finding eagle arms or just a little bear hug. Taking those arms to the right, looking to the left with the switch up. Noticing where we're sensing this. Not dismissing our body. I think a lot of times we are communicating in a way that doesn't bring opening or healing to ourselves, but when we soften, you'd be surprised how positively your body responds or senses your words. We'll switch the arms the other way, looking the opposite way. We'll take 2 more breaths.
And then we'll slowly release that and shake out our arms. Awesome. We're going to come to our back now. And just taking a lay down here for a moment, drawing our shoulder blades together. And we're going to lift up in bridge pose and hold this for a few breaths as a light activation. If you want to, you can put your hands just resting underneath. I like to just put them under there so my body knows it's supported without it really lifting me up. It's just an active sensation or care that I do. We'll take a couple more breaths here. And then on your exhale, we'll lower down and tuck both knees into your chest. So sometimes when we come into this position, we can feel this sensation in our hip flexors. So just for fun, we're going to learn to relax this a little bit. So drawing your mind's eye into the hip flexors, and notice if just by you being aware, you can soften that sensation. Learning to be or realizing that you're your own healer. We have the ability to bring so much wellness and care to ourselves through our words and our actions and our energy. And from here, we will take the left leg long, right leg in, and be soft with this. So we're going to transition a little bit with this, taking the right leg to the right and pressing the left hand into the left hip. If this is too much, you can always take it up a little bit. So that space that we were working with frog pose, we've already prepped that. So seeing if we can't find a little more depth here. For those of you that have the space for it, you can always take your first two fingers in yogi toe lock. You can grab your toes and reach out to the side if you would like to. And then we'll take that right knee back in, give it a squeeze, and then we'll switch sides. So some of these postures you may be familiar with. You may have seen them many a times, but the reason we come back to them is because they're so beneficial. So we'll take that left knee to the left, right hand on the right hip, uncomplicating things, if you will. And giving the body time to catch up to positions we're putting it in. We'll take a few more breaths here, noticing if we're holding on, thinking about maybe our right leg. Are we tensing it up? How can we help to relax that space? And then hugging the left knee in, setting the feet on the ground. And we're going to do a little pelvic floor work, or if you like to think about the deep little core muscles, we're going to play around with this. So taking your feet a little bit wide and then pressing your hand on the right hip bone and then the left, like you're creating this rocking back and forth. Back and forth. You can feel that on your low back area. And then we'll come to stillness here and tuck the tailbone under and then back. Super slight motion, but we're getting into that really deep area. It's not the sit-ups and all that. It's even smaller. Now tip right and left. It is so small, this motion. Asking these other muscles not to do the work, Really doing this micro movements. And now a clockwork. So thinking about doing a clock, going around the clock, barely moving your hips. You may be thinking, is she doing anything while she's laying there? But really, we strengthen all these the abs are so intertwined, but there are these layers of deep core that we just don't get to. So moving around, switching up your clockwork, and you may feel this tomorrow. Awesome. We'll settle with that, roll to our right side, push ourselves up, and we will find a little twist here. So tucking the right foot to the left glute, stepping the right foot over left. And maybe this is your twist here. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, finding your right arm over your left thigh, and not overthinking this, just allowing the body to start to find its rotation while you are guiding everything else to relax. Your hips, your feet, your mind. And maybe we look a little bit further. One more breath. And then we will release that and reach over to the right side and see how far we can come down. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here. And again, if you would like to take that left arm and thread the needle, it doesn't have to be all the way, just finding whatever space we can for today. Not overthinking about this leg, this upper leg. Holding these varying positions to find space everywhere in the body. One more breath. And then we will start to sit up and slowly switch. Left heel to right glute, right foot over the body, hugging our knee. And then maybe we start to find a little more space. I don't like to cue everything here because there's, sometimes we get overwhelmed with all the left and rights and do this and settle this. But just thinking about the purpose of you toning down for the night. Toning down, releasing tension. Maybe it's in your left hip that you're releasing it. Maybe it's just in your mind. Opportunity to start shifting your gaze a little bit further. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And on your exhale, we'll start to come back to center, and then we'll take that opposite direction, setting our hands down. Maybe we find our forearms down. We're not thinking about this leg. It can do whatever it wants to. And if we want to thread that needle, I'm not getting very far, but it's fun to just check it out, right? Imagining your rib cage is expanding and finding space. Or maybe you just want to think about nothing and just sit here and let your body do its magic. And we'll take 1 more deep breath. On your exhale, starting to sit up. And we're just going to sit here noticing if we feel different. Do we feel different than when we started? Are we feeling a little more calm? Do we physically feel a little more open? And we're going to do a little breath work here. So The left side nostril breathing is the cooling side, so we're going to close our right nostril and inhale through the left. And exhale through the left. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more rounds. Two more. Last time. And then letting that go, taking our hands to our heart and our belly, and thinking about finding more ease just by the way we are moving with our body, communicating with our body, the gifts we are giving to our body through all of those spaces, allowing ourselves to find strength in being soft and finding ease and peace with those types of practices. Thank you so much for having an easy evening with me. Namaste today and every single day.